Okay, I just made that video talking about Tim Kay and why you should go listen to him, and especially if you're going to travel outside the tourist areas. Now let me give you my take on how I choose to travel, where I decide to go, and how I do it. I've been to some places that are pretty remote. I've been to some places where they don't see tourists, not nearly as extensively as others, but I have a real simple way to look at this, and it's super easy to remember, to use. It's a real simple process. Let me just spell it out for you right here in the beginning. If you're going to go someplace new, you've never been, think about it like going to a house party. A friend of a friend invites you to a house party, and you're going. It's a big, beautiful house. It's a mansion. It's got a pool. It's got a basement. It's got 5 stories, whatever, right? Big, beautiful place. And the bedroom door's locked. Well, that means the bedroom door is not open for everybody, right? The cellar door to the pool hall and bowling alley's locked. Well, that means they don't want people down there, so don't go. Or if you must, if you just got to get down there, ask. So it sounds like a strange analogy. Let me break it down in plain terms. If you're going to travel to a country that has a lot of infrastructure for tourists, just go, enjoy it, have a good time. If you're going to venture out away from that infrastructure, ask the locals. Don't ask other people who've traveled there. I mean, that's a good starting point. But even when you get there, ask the locals. So I went to Albania, and I went to Albania real quick in July of 2022, boom, and then I decided I wanted to go back. I was only there, less than a week. And then just kind of get my feet wet, smell test, right? Smelled good. So I talked to some locals very briefly in that time. I'm like, okay, I'm going to come back and, spend a few months here. So on my way back in, I was so funny. I probably told this a dozen times, but I'm flying from Italy to Albania, and the guy sitting next to me is kind of, visibly flustered because I'm a fat ass bubbling over my seat. So I'm trying to cram against the window, and I apologize to him. We start talking. He's a member of federal law enforcement, and I broached the subject very cautiously about Albania being dangerous, and he laid it out better than I've ever heard. He's like, and I'm paraphrasing here, Albania is the safest place you'll ever go. And he was well traveled. We talked about his travels a bit. He's like, Albania is the safest place you'll ever go, but if you come here looking for trouble will find you, smash you before you even see it coming. He's like, if you're here to do stupid things or this or that, you will get smashed and nobody will ever care. You'll be gone. Just nobody ever give a shit. And I found that to be super true, right? If you're going to someplace and it's, you're respectful, you're polite, you're kind, you're courteous, your chances of having problems are slim to none, right? If you're going to someplace with a high crime problem, like Italy or Mexico, then yeah, you always got to be on the lookout. Italy, even at the train station, they're like, stop. The little kiosk says, stop, look around, look for pickpockets, be aware of your surroundings. It's like, oh, okay, what, right, whatever, because the pickpockets are really bad there. But once I was in Albania, I wanted to go out to these other cities. I started asking locals about it. Hey, what do you think about me traveling here? Make friends at a coffee shop, make friends at a restaurant, make friends on the street, in the park. I met this guy walking down the street, and my big regret there is we haven't had more time to hang out. He bounced out to another country, I bounced out to another country, and we still chat every once in a while on Instagram. But I made local friends, and I asked them, and so I was traveling out to cities where they don't see a lot of tourists, a lot of foreign tourists. They see a lot of internal tourists, and it was great. And I've done that in a couple countries, and it's been great. But I didn't just strike out and go regardless of what people said. I took a temperature, I took a reading. So just like going to that house party, if the bedroom door is closed, don't go in it, right? Don't just wander around a house opening doors. When you go to a country, don't just wander around like it's your country and you're safe and you're free. There are places in the world where they're racist, they're sexist, they're whateverist, right? There's ists everywhere in the world, not just America, right? There are parts of Oakland you don't go There are parts of Cleveland or Baltimore, or, you know, take your pick. There's parts of the backwoods you don't go. Even if you're, you know, look like you fit in, you still don't just go, because they're cliquey, or whatever you want to call it, right? So if you're going to travel to someplace, you know, my simple advice is, and it's real simple to remember, real easy, you know, look at all the state departments, do a little bit of research. Don't just strike out, right? If the State Department says this or that, don't go, right? I mean, what's so important there that you need to put yourself at risk? Like, Mexico is beautiful, but there are parts of Mexico I'm just not going to go. I don't speak Spanish, and you know, that increases the risk of problems, and I don't want problems. There's so many other places I can go without problems. Why go to a place where I might have a problem? It's just not worth it, right? I'll go to places where, you know, the might is like once in a blue moon on a Friday the 13th, you know, on an even year, on a, you know, odd century, you know, the odds get so far out there, it's like getting hit by lightning while you're scuba diving 30 feet under, right? Just not practically going to happen. And there's so many places where your safety, you know, even from petty crime, is that high. I mean, you stand a better chance of getting hit by lightning and bit by a shark at the same time than, you know, being a victim of small crime or violent crime in some of these countries. And those are the places I'd rather go, right? Now, if, you know, I can't even imagine, you know, getting so worn out on those places that I would have to go to someplace dangerous, right? It's just not, there's nothing there that draws me that great. So, again, think of it like you're going to a house party. If you're welcome at the patio, you're welcome on the balcony, you're welcome in the kitchen, why do you need to go in the bedroom? Why do you need to go in the basement? Why do you need to go upstairs, right? Be respectful in that regard, and just go where you're welcome. Now, if you go to a country and there's not a lot of infrastructure for tourism, and you start asking around, asking locals, you know, have you ever been here? Have you ever been here? How do I get there? What's the best way to go there? And you're getting good, positive feedback, definitely go, right? And if you're that adventurous person, definitely go, you know, explore it, enjoy it. You know, I would never try to dissuade somebody from venturing out, but, you know, have in the back of your mind that there's no support system out here. One of the reasons I still recommend Angeles City as a great place for first-time travelers is there's so much support. If you go to Angeles City and you have a problem, you go to a bar. Poppy's Bar and Chill is probably one of the best places, because you're going to meet 24 guys who can tell you how to solve that problem in their way, and they all have probably, half of them have probably had the same problem. Especially if you're a first-time traveler going to the Philippines, you know, my ideal trip would be to recommend to somebody, fly into Manila, take the bus to Angeles City, spend 2 days at Poppy's, grab a flight to Cebu, grab a flight to Siargao, a flight to Coron, spend a couple, 3 days, 5 days there, fly back, and then if you have time, you know, make another second little trip and go explore different parts of the Philippines. That's my ideal first trip. That's me. Other people, they want to go and spend 3 weeks at one resort in one place and never leave, and, you know, that's fine. Do you. You do you. You know, other people want to jump on a motorcycle, another great place. But to me, the concept of going someplace like Angeles City as a first-time traveler, there is a ton of resources there and a ton of cumulative knowledge, you know, from people who've been there and done it. And that's, you know, priceless. You can listen to all the YouTubes you want, but there'll still be holes in what you know and what you're prepared for. And just the, you know, boots on the ground experience, or the, you know, feet in the sand experience, you know, doesn't always translate to camera, and doesn't always sink in when you're listening. So that's my opinion. But, you know, if you want to travel, go travel. If you want to raise cats, raise cats. If you want to spend your days, you know, plucking grass out of the deck every other day because it grows that fast under the deck, you know, enjoy your life. But, you know, be deliberate about it. That's my new saying. I'm going to start talking about being deliberate. But that's what I got for this video, is, you know, my impression on how to find a place to travel is look for something that's affordable, because I'm a brokey. Look for something that's enjoyable. Look for some good food. Look for something that's easy. And of course, look for something that is safe. And that's how I determine if it's safe or not. Does it have a lot of tourist infrastructure? Does it advertise? And are there any negatives or any reports of danger? And you need to remember, a lot of places won't advertise the actual crime that's going on. I grew up in a tourist city here in California, and I'm talking all the way back in the late 80s, early 90s. There were drive-by shootings that never made the news, never got recorded, never anything, because it was a tourist town. And so if you didn't know, to stay out of those bad neighborhoods at night, you didn't know. Now with the internet, it's pretty good, and you can know pretty well, with a little bit of research, what areas are easily accessible, safe, and reliable. And if you don't, start asking people. Get on Facebook, get on Instagram, get on YouTube, and just start asking people. I don't know. But I've met the best people, traveling, and this time in California has been no different. I've met some amazing people here. Probably talk about that in the future. But yeah, get a passport, get out and travel. Raise your cats, grow your grass to pick. Whatever your passion is, start doing it. Don't wait for tomorrow. Get her done today.